Okay.
Yeah, I didn't personally tell you but I did say it. Well, I didn't personally say it in an email. I just told you on video. I said, "Hey, look, if you wanted this kind of treatment, then you'll get it. Simple as that."
Oh, you guys slammed me good. I got to the point where I already told Chuck, I was like, look, I'm getting hit hard here. I can't take this anymore. And they're telling the truth about me, and I can't do nothing about it because it is the truth, and I'm not doing it no more.
Yeah, because you got to look at it this way. Joe and me, we talk on a regular basis. And I said to Joe, I got this guy's channel shut down. I got a strike on him. What did I do?
Joe got me back. He said if Ebayisajoke had a helper in a video, and that really got me. That actually did get me going a little bit. But I was like, Joe had every right to do that because of the stuff I was doing.
That's it. And you realize.
And then that's what Ebayisajoke's like. Oh well, he got you back. Look what the video that he did on you about you being my personal friend. I was like, well, it's not like it wasn't true for a while. I mean, honestly, I was doing things I shouldn't be doing. And I go, you shouldn't be doing them anymore. You need to stop. Take all your stuff down. Stop harassing people. I'm doing it. And then I'm going to have to come out and publicly apologize to all these people out of all the videos I've done. Because I don't want to live like that. I want to make friends online. I don't want to make enemies.
Right.
Because you're making enemies because that's easy for you to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you can turn it around if you want and stop bugging people and start turning around you have a choice to turn it around.
I personally think that if he stops this kind of what he's doing, then we will stop. But it doesn't excuse him from what he's already done.
No, and I told him that. I was like, look, it doesn't excuse me for the stuff I've done.
That's right, because all of us.
But I'd rather be responsible and say, hey, I'd rather people know what I've done in the public eye, so I can apologize and take the later embarrassment of maybe being arrested or being accused along with you in court, because I don't want to go there.
Right. Exactly. And you surely you know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And if you come forward and start stating the truth, you could pretty much let go.
Wait till you have nightmares of FBI officers coming to your door.
I don't fear any of that. Because
because of him.
You had nightmares?
One day I'm going to have a knock at my door.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to like it.
Well, like I said, and I've said this before, the only contact that I had from any police officer was the phone call about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. And I told the officer flat out, I said, officer or detective, I do not own a gun. I don't have access to bullets. I don't even have a permit in the state of Florida registered. So what makes you think that I am going to go to Detroit and pull a trigger and kill him?
Right. Well, I'll be honest. Doc is the one that actually brought that up to me when that video came out.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, I was like, well, it does kind of say, it sounds like this and it sounds like this in the beginning. And then you came out and was like, hey, I said bone, I didn't say bullet. And then all of a sudden, Ebayisajoke's going to put
bullet, because he knows.
That report out.
Yep.
See, that's where he's sick. He does things and doesn't think about them. He was on the news 3 times and got nowhere.
Right.
Rob Walchuk, he's in the court, and that order, whatever restraining order, the judge just revoked it right there on the news.
Right. And
that's when he started doxing Ebayisajoke started putting Rob Walchuk stuff, saying, oh, they're following me in my apartment. I was like, I think you have more than just him following you.
I think you have.
They're tracing your stuff, dude. They want to know what you're doing. You are on the grid. You are on the grid.
Yeah, you're on the chopping block. He knows it.
Not just with the news. I think you have cyber police monitoring what you do. They got to know you're making fake proxy accounts.
Yeah. Hands down.
Just to harass Joe, you, anybody, me. I mean, he hasn't really harassed me. He just put my stuff out there to tick me off. I was like, well, you already did it anyway.
It's still a form of harassment because at any time that you had left him or were going, he still had but he blackmailed you flat out. You could say,
oh yeah, I'm not denying that some of the stuff I did on my own. I did.
Right.
But some of the stuff, he's like, if you don't do this, and I know he had to do that to Doc.
Yep.
Because at one point he's like, I'm not telling anybody what to do. I was like, baloney.
Yeah.
If you tell us if we don't, then you'll do this. I was like, and so I was like, I just stopped. I wanted to see if he would do it. I was like, of course he did it. Because he's mad because he don't have anybody that wants to follow his harassing activities and criminal activities and stuff that he does with people.
And I can honestly speak for the YouTube community that I've been on YouTube for about 10 years. As soon as I got a computer, I was on it. But I didn't really start making any videos till I started the Queens New Yorker, which was only about, going into its second season. And yes, there will be a second and a third and a fourth and a fifth season, jokester. So, just because you got my channel shut down one time, keep trying to shut it down. I'll just come back and make another one and another one of the same things.
Right.
It's not going to stop me from telling, because he's accused me of plagiarism. Look, I tell everybody where to go to get these to get the information. Okay? It's being cited. I'm citing an author like that.
Right.
I mean, if you look at any of my videos, and I have one of them up there right now, you look at that. Okay, so I'm reading off Wikipedia. But Wikipedia is a free site.
Yep.
No one author...
Internet.
Right. No one author claims the information.
Yep, you can add information to it. If I think you got to become a member.
That's right. And that's why they get to with donations and stuff. Right. You can constantly update it if the information needs to be updated or is inaccurate. Well, not saying that it's not accurate, but it might be information that's not been updated for about 10 years and needs to be refreshed.
Right.
But that's where I get most of my information from. I mean,
yep.
I don't know about...
I love that website. I go on there a lot.
Yeah, Wikipedia has been my go-to to talk about old school toys and games. I mean, there's a lot of them out there.
Oh, yeah, they have a lot of information on... that's where I get my information from the old records.
Right.
Yeah, I used to sell my records on eBay, but then eBay started not really doing well with that kind of media.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're changing into more of a retail platform, which they've done in the past few years.
Yeah.
Selling, more newer stuff.
That's right. Okay, friends, if we still got any more questions for Keith, type them in there. I don't think we had any more there. We'll see. You got any more questions, friends? Please type them in the social stream part of the website, and we will definitely ask Keith what the question is. But hands down, Keith, I really appreciate you coming forward with this. I have tremendous respect for the way you are handling yourself now, because I always thought, okay, it sounds like he's being manipulated by Ebayisajoke. At first, I'm thinking, okay, if this guy wants to break the law, if he wants to give up his freedom, then he's got some problems of his own, and he just flat out doesn't care. But when I realized, I'm thinking, this guy is really knowledgeable, and I'm referring to you. He knows what he's talking about, because you yourself, when you were talking about, when you were making videos on how to be successful on Amazon and all of those websites, I actually watched a lot of your videos that had nothing to do with bashing us. And I'm thinking,
right.
This guy knows a lot. This guy knows a lot.
Yeah, and that's what I want to get into. I want to be a credible person that can put out credible information for people that want to learn how to sell online or how to build websites, or, I want to be a credible person. I don't need to be doing illegal things to harass people, because that don't get you anywhere.
It doesn't get you anywhere. It just gives
That
you a
gets
lot
you
of
on
headache.
the news.
Yeah.
And then you are done forever.
Yeah, you're targeted. And then your privacy is pretty much, you'll have no privacy after that. Because then everybody's either calling you, emailing you, threatening you with death threats too. And I don't think, I don't think anybody wants that kind of treatment unless they are psychotically, mentally disturbed and think that's okay to do that.
Well, actually, here's a question that came in. It says, are you going to make any more YouTube videos exposing stalker Ebayisajoke? Joe, I think.
Didn't see it come through. How'd you get that?
It just popped up.
Huh.
I would say I could, but what would be credible about it? I mean, I think this is enough exposure for him right now. Having somebody that followed him and pushed me to the point where I didn't want to go through his illegal activity anymore, because I was starting to get a guilty conscience and said, look, I can't treat people like that.
Yeah.
Or, civil society, normally we're all good people and we get along, not unless there's a war from country to country, and then we go and do what we can to get those matters situated. That's why we have militaries.
Right.
But we have what's called an assembled military against Ebayisajoke, and he don't like it because there's a problem with him. He likes to harass people, and he has to stop. And now he's going to call me a spy and all kinds of stuff. I'm not a spy. I was a flip-flopper for a while.
And that's all you was.
But I'm coming clean and saying, look, I made the choice to stop, and I'm going to stop. I'm not doing your malicious destruction of badgering people because it's wrong. It's morally wrong, and it's against human nature to treat people like that. Not unless there's something wrong with you in the head. And I really believe there's a psychological flaw with this character.
Yeah.
I mean, he wore a mask, and he got caught, and he was on the news because he did wear a mask, but he got taken off the mask, and he still hides behind something he can't hide behind anymore. That tells me there's a screw loose.
And there's not any truth coming out of his mouth, because every time he talks, there's always a finger being pointed at someone else, and there's usually a threat behind it, or some insult to that matter.
Right, and I did enough, with me, exactly, especially with him. I did enough insults. I got fingers pointed at me. I'm like, I'm not going down this tunnel with you.
Right. Exactly.
I'm not being dragged down because I don't want to be dragged down. I want to be successful, and the only way to do that is to change, figure out a way to make amends with the people that now hate me online, or get a general respect so they don't hate me, and apologize to everybody.
Yep. And
hopefully they respect that apology, and even if you don't, I completely understand.
Yep. And I just saw the question come in, so you're gonna make more YouTube videos exposed. And I think I agree with that as much. You should, Keith. You know why? Because it'll prove to everybody, prove to those who didn't think you were, it'll ease up the image of flip-flopping, because now you are actually coming out with the credible information that you have basically worked. You put the pieces of the puzzle together, and I think it'll show Jokester that we are not going down for anyone, and there's more. There's always going to be more fighting against him than him against us.
Right.
I say if you want, make this a weekly thing. Come on to the show, and we'll do a weekly podcast like them scumbags do.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
You heard it, folks. A regular here on the Jason Decanio show now is coming through. Keith, thank you very much for coming on tonight for the first crack of delving into what you know about Ebayisajoke. And remember, friends, of course, keep your eye no matter what, on anything that happens to you. If you are involved in this, please come forward and start telling your story, because it's important to document these things, because this will be what puts him in jail. The very evidence of it. And I know you can agree with me on that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Not unless he comes clean and starts going the right direction.
That is, yeah, if he would do us all a favor and start doing some credible stuff, it's not going to change what he's already done, but we can start showing some respect to the guy.
Right.
Because you may not like him, but you become the better person when you start showing respect to those. People can respect you. They don't have to like you. I don't care if the bum likes me, but sure as hell don't disrespect me, because, I got facts to back it up. Mr. Detweiler has facts to back. Mr. DeMarco has facts to back his testimonials up. Matt has the same thing. Pete, whoever it is, we all have the facts against Jokester. And what he doesn't realize is that when it comes down to the court, is he going to lie in front of that judge and go as far as perjury? I just would love to see him get arrested, be held in contempt of court for perjury.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. All the information he puts out is right on his website.
And that's the very evidence that's against him, because a common criminal would never make websites like that or expose himself to what he actually thought he could accomplish.
Because I've searched many websites on what I think was a credible source of income or a credible source of information against a person. Was it rude or harassing?
Mm-hmm.
Most internet sites out there are not. He generalizes his harassment towards individuals. That isn't normal for anybody to do, and it's not normal to do that online.
Right.
I've read articles in different countries,
mm-hmm.
and I'll tell you that Ebayisajoke, your websites and your harassments are not healthy.
No.
And not healthy attitude towards anybody online.
It's like they leave a bad taste in your mouth. It's like, I don't know what the heck I've just been reading, but why would I want to follow this guy's, opinions? Obviously, we know he's giving his opinions. How would you rate his expertise, Keith? I
don't think he's an expert at anything.
Well,
I've challenged him on a few things, and he could not answer them. He's like, I can't answer those.
I believe it.
He just runs his mouth, and he uses his computer as a weapon to do it.
Yeah, and we can all, and you can agree with this, that he needs to have his computer privileges revoked. They need to go in there.
He actually made a video about that. You could.
Yeah.
They've done it to other people.
Sure.
Yeah, they can't. You can. That's being on the internet and being responsible with it is a privilege, honestly.
It's like a driver's license.
Exactly. And if you abuse people, you will get those privileges revoked, and then you'll be like, "Why did I do that?"
Right, and then yeah.
There's different ways to be in prison. You don't have to physically be in prison, but if they take your computer away, it's like you might as well be in prison because you can't get on the computer.
Yeah, and in today's society where everybody heavily relies on a computer or a cell phone that has internet access, he wouldn't even be able to be allowed to have that.
Oh, I actually know somebody that experienced that for about a year.
Ooh.
And got revoked to not have a computer at home, was only allowed a regular, no phone with internet access until he went to court.
Right.
Well, after court, he won, and then they gave him, okay, yeah, you can be on the internet. His spouse was allowed on the internet, but he was not allowed physically to go. He was on a court judgment that he was not allowed on the internet.
Wow.
And if you're a hacker and you get busted in like some of those movies that you watch, that actually can happen.
Yeah. And unfortunately for Ebayisajoke, he doesn't think this can happen to him because, well, they didn't get me before. So, I mean, what do you think is the delay that's happening here? Like, why is it that it's taking so long for any prosecution, or any arrest to be made?
'Cause I think that there has to be more. I think you're doing a good job. I think just more people have to not just go to the police department. I think a real judgment needs to be laid down and say, hey, either you stop, we're taking your computer away.
Right.
And then he would probably be like, okay, I'm taking it all down. I don't want my computer privileges taken away.
Yeah, but we know he's not going to take that stuff down. He may say it because they did that. They played that hoax out. They even admitted it, the two of them.
Oh, yeah. Not only does he say he'll take it down and don't, he actually builds more websites to add the information from one website and the same information in another website.
Exactly.
Like showbusters.org that Doc owned, that Ebayisajoke actually got from Doc because Doc didn't want to do that for him anymore.
Yep, and then he came out with a new one Doc came out with a new one called Team eBay Smear Campaign.
Right.
That totally doxed your information on there. You were one of the articles.
Yeah, I haven't been on there, but I don't know. I didn't know that he put my info on there.
Oh, it's on there. It's on there. Where you lived or the places you lived.
Oh, yeah, that I saw.
Yeah. I mean, that I was like, man. And that's when I did my video.
And this is what you do. And I can do it. I can do it to Doc. All they got to do is pay $10 and look my name up and look his name up and find out where he's been.
Right. Doesn't take that
But
much.
I will tell you, Ebayisajoke, I have a life, and I have traveled, and I enjoy traveling because I'm a photographer as a hobbyist. And yes, I lived in many different places for work.
Mm-hmm.
Has nothing to do with me. He said, "Oh, I'm running, and I'll go to all these different places." It's like, whatever.
Some people just like to not stay in one place for you know.
And so he put my information out there where I've been, and then now it's on Doc's website. And we'll tell Doc, I was like, look, you're following somebody that's going to put you in the gutter with him.
That's right. You think he's not going to go down alone? Yeah, he'll take whoever was with him. He says, if I'm not...
And Doc has lost all my respect, and he's never had that respect because I don't think he was an honest seller when he got kicked off eBay. I'm just saying that in my personal opinion.
Right.
You know, I don't care if he's the first person to sell, a ding-dong on eBay. I'll be honest. He did something wrong and get kicked off.
Right.
He sold a Rolls Royce. Got put on the eBay news back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. But whatever went sour with him and eBay, that's his problem. Then he made the eBay Motors for him.
Yeah. It's crazy. It really is crazy. And I have no respect for Doc. I never did. But what Ebayisajoke was saying is that, with Jason's death threat and everything against me, I feel very, very worried for Doc because he's not that far from Doc. Let me say this much. I am exactly 2 hours from Tampa Bay, Clearwater. But why would I still want to go and harass an old man? So he can accuse me of harassment? Really? No.
No, because Doc's been accusing you of harassing him and Ebayisajoke.
Well, and Doc also accuses me of standing him up for his interview. But then I got to realize, because then he says, well, Joe probably put him up to it, Joe runs his strings. Let me tell you something. Joe doesn't control me. Nobody controls me. Nobody controls you.
Right.
Okay? I'm not controllable. Okay? I make my own decisions. And I felt, and this is going on record, I felt that it was not worth my time to give Doc any truth of what I know, because then he could turn around and say, well, he never answered my questions.
Well, Doc should answer my question if he wants to answer it, is where was he at 2 years ago when I started following Ebayisajoke and started finding all the stuff against him was true, and now Doc thinks all the stuff that Ebayisajoke does is credible, even though it doxes people's information, harasses people, and, it's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
So, Doc, if you think that stuff is legal for the things that you think that Ebayisajoke is doing is okay, then that makes you a very suspicious person, in my opinion.
Yep. But if he's not going to admit that Ebayisajoke is not doing anything wrong, then he's an accomplice to Ebayisajoke because he's protecting him. And right now, nobody should be protecting
him.
We know he is.
Doc is doing us a favor by documenting the crap that he does.
Yeah,
I thank him for that because that's all information that you guys use against him.
But in the same way, he's also doxing us as well too. So he's doing both. You know, he says, it's just my 2 cents. My 2 cents. My opinion. Well, your opinions about me, you, Joe, Jokester, your opinions are very, very, very insulting.
Yeah, I don't think, honestly, I just don't think that is Doc's website.
No, I don't think.
I think it was put together by Finch himself for Mr. Kuhn to run.
I totally agree with you on that, and I think anyone who knows it would, because I don't think Doc would have the time to want to put a website together unless he knew that he himself was going to be able to run it the way he would want to run it.
Exactly.
So, considering the fact that Doc's got a lot of things on his agenda, quote unquote, because he does, you know, I don't doubt for one. I don't disrespect Doc in the fact that he's very knowledgeable with cars. I would not take that away from him.
No, he's real good with cars. This eBay motor sucks.
I would never derogatorily say anything about his knowledge of cars, but I would think that the man, considering where he is in his life right now, would take a look at both sides of the story. And I don't think, because they always say to me, well, you don't have both sides of the story. You didn't want to interview me, Jason. I'm like, I don't interview criminals. Sorry. If you would have, here's the thing. If Jokester would have come to me in a more different way instead of nasty, and he would have talked to me on the phone before without threats, you might have gotten your interview, Jokester, but you decided to threaten me because he, in the beginning always he said, Jason don't have the real story. He's only got Joe's story. I said, I only need Joe's story to know what a scumbag is. Simple as that.
That's true.
I don't need both sides of the story when I know that if somebody got robbed or if somebody got threatened, why would a criminal want to, unless the criminal was actually going to give himself up at that particular moment?
Yeah, he calls it the eBay smear campaign to get eBay ejected off YouTube. I was like, well, if he wasn't doing the things that he was doing, he wouldn't be where he is.
Right. And so the message is that I've kept telling Jokester is, come and debate me. If you do not like what I've got to say, then come physically on a debate via the phone or something else, Skype. I don't care what the situation is, and duke it out with me. And I will make you look like a damn fool right in front of the entire whole civilized world and the internet world, because my job is to make you look like an idiot. and I will do that. He could sue me, but what is he going to get? Nothing. Except his ass handed to him on a silver platter.
Well, I think this podcaster interview is going to hopefully make Doc realize where Ebayisajoke is and the things that he needs to just take his luggage and pack it up and leave that scene.
Leave the scene and get ready.
And go back to what you're good at and running your eBay Motor Sucks and keep it that way. And don't do any more videos and putting stupid information out with Ebayisajoke.
Yeah. Go back to letting the public
know. But you got to remember, Doc, who came to you? Ebayisajoke came to you. You didn't go to him.
Right. That's a good way of looking at it. Keith, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And we'll talk to you next week, all right?
All right, sounds good.
All right, have a good one. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. And there you have it, friends. A great interview. We went on a little bit longer than we did, but there you have it. The great interview with Keith Detweiler, who will be with us on a regular basis, talking about cyberstalking and bullying, the complete show about Ebayisajoke. And if he's so wanting to listen to this, well, he can. But I guarantee you, the show is going to be recorded. It's being recorded right now. There will be 4 original copies. So, like I said before, you know, this is one person now coming out, telling you their side of the story, without threats, without accusations. They made their apologies, and I think we should commend Keith Detweiler for what he's actually doing. And you know, it takes a lot of guts, takes a lot of manning up, and I think in this case we totally have respect for Keith Detweiler here on the Jason Decanio Show. WJDC studio time is 9:09, and you are listening to our great show, episode number 383.